Oh, hey, sorry, you caught me right in the middle of my lunch. It's sushi. Have you ever had sushi? It can be super tasty. This one that I'm eating right here is salmon and avocado. It has a little bit of seaweed in there. And then I put a little bit of this ginger on top with a little bit of soy sauce, and it's so good. But you didn't come here to watch me eat, you came here to draw. And I had the greatest idea while I was eating. I thought maybe we should draw some sushi. Does that sound like a good idea? Awesome, okay, well let's go ahead and get started. All you're gonna need is a clean sheet of paper, a nice sharp pencil, an eraser, a dark marker or a pen, and of course, something to color with. All right, so I think we're ready to draw our sushi. Now, I like so many different types of sushi, I couldn't decide on just one to draw, and I thought one might be kind of boring. So, I think we should draw a bunch of different types of sushi and put them on like a platter or a block of wood, something like that, and make it a little bit more fun to draw and color in. So, let's go ahead and start maybe with like let's do a block of wood, and we're gonna do it at an angle. So it's a little tricky, but I'm gonna show you how to do it, okay? Let's start by drawing a diagonal line right over here on this side. We're gonna draw really lightly, remember, because we're just sketching and we're bound to make some mistakes, and we might need to also erase a lot of this. So let's go ahead, I'm gonna draw another one on this side, just a little bit lower over here. It's a little bit off to the side, but I think it'll be fine. And then you're gonna draw a line connecting those like this. And if you need a ruler, go ahead and get a ruler out. I'm just gonna do it by hand. Whoops, I'm just gonna do it by hand here. There we go. I'm gonna erase that little line that got out of control. Awesome, okay. So I got my main shape for my block of wood. Now all I'm gonna do to make it look like it's thicker, we're gonna draw lines down from each of these points, and then we're just gonna connect them again. Same angle as the top line. So the line right above it, same thing. Do it right over here. Wonderful. Okay, so we got our block of wood. Now we just need to figure out where and what type of sushi we are going to make. So I'm gonna think, let's draw some basic shapes. Basic shapes just to kind of sketch out where the sushi is gonna be, and then we'll make sure it looks a little bit nicer. But let's start maybe with like a nice tamago. Now what the tamago is the type of sushi. It's with the little rice, and then it has an egg on the top. And it's kind of like an omelet type egg. So we're gonna go ahead and just draw, maybe let's start right over here, and let's start with a really lightly draw in an oval shape. Let's draw an oval shape. There we go, that'll be the rice. And then we're gonna draw kind of a curve right here on top of it. Again, we're gonna fix these shapes a little bit later. And we're gonna draw another curve up top of here, like this. And then maybe we'll just kind of round it off over here, kind of straighten it off on that edge, or a little bit further, something like that, where it's kind of a rectangle shape on top of that oval. Hopefully that's clear enough to see. If you want, you can go ahead and just erase some of that stuff on the inside there of that rectangle, and you can kind of get the idea of what's going on with our little tamago sushi. Okay, so we got our sushi on that side, we got a little tamago right there. Now let's do some maki. Now maki is just your sushi roll. That's pretty much the kind that you see a lot, or you think of when you think of sushi probably, is the one where it's wrapped with seaweed and they make them into rolls. So let's start, maybe let's put a couple of those right over here. So let's do maybe one right here, and we're gonna draw a foreshortened circle. That's like an oval, because it looks like a circle, but it's just squished, because you're looking at it at a different angle. So we're gonna draw one of those right there, and let's draw another one, maybe right up here. So we draw oval, oval, and then we're just gonna draw little lines going straight down again, but don't go all the way through, because this one's gonna be behind this roll. So then we'll go like this. There we go. We'll draw those lines, and now you just copy the same thing. We're gonna copy that curve like that. There we go, and that looks really nice. And then on these rolls, we'll draw more, detail there, but basically these are the ones that are filled. They have seaweed on the outside, rice, and then they have a filling of something in there. We'll figure out what that is later. I'm thinking the next thing we can draw in here is a nigiri, and that's basically rice with fish on top. So, again, I think maybe we should draw some ovals here for the rice that's gonna be underneath it. Let's do that. We'll kind of draw an oval there, and We'll draw another oval right here. Now you notice I'm being really sketchy and really loose with it, and that's okay. Right now we're just trying to figure out and make sure it all fits on top of our board here. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna draw, it's kind of like a, I'll show you. It's a little, I'll show you what the shape is. So basically we're gonna draw a little curve right above this, and then it's gonna round off. Almost like a, I don't know, kind of like a bean shape or like a hot dog. Like that. And we'll draw the same thing over here in the background. Now remember, you don't have to draw it in here because it's behind it. So you're just going to draw this bit right over here. So we're going to go like this, back here. And then we're going to come back in. Maybe a little bit less. There we go. Now, if that's not easy to see, then watch this. Let's just erase the insides, because these are going to be on, this one's going to be on the top, so it's going to be covering that one behind it. And there you go. We'll clean up the shapes of these here in a little bit, but right now I think it'll just be good to have them all on here. Now I'm thinking I actually want this thing over here, this tamago sushi, I want it to be a little bit bigger. So I'll probably just make that a little bit bigger and have this come down over here a little bit more. But we can do that in a second. Now, let's draw. I don't know if you like this. I personally don't like wasabi. I like hot things, and wasabi's kind of this little paste that's pretty hot. But I really don't like the flavor, but you will see it with a lot of your sushi. So let's add one on there. It'd be kind of fun to draw. We'll draw a little, it's like almost like it looks kind of like Play-Doh when it's on your plate. And maybe we'll have it have a little cool shape. Like that. We'll just kind of round off the edge. Start with the circle, and then we'll kind of round off some shapes just to make it look kind of fun. And then I think the only thing we're missing here is like ginger, but I think this platter looks pretty full, so maybe we just need to go ahead and start cleaning it up just a little bit. Sushi surprisingly came from China. I always thought it came from Japan, but I guess I was technically right because the sushi that we have today is very much a Japanese cuisine. Originally in China, it was just fermented rice and salted fish. I think I like the Japanese version better. Let's start taking these shapes and make them just a little bit more finished. So I'm thinking I'm gonna round off the edges here. And then I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna kind of go in. The same thing we did kind of down here. It's gonna go in a little bit and then it's gonna come down, round it off. And then we're gonna go back over here. And then we're gonna kind of keep all the edges kind of rounded off. There we go. Now it doesn't matter however you wanna make that look. You can make it look straight or however you wanna draw it is fine. Then I'm gonna draw a line just like I did here for the wood base. I'm gonna draw a little line down, and then all I have to do is just copy that shape again. So now we kind of add how thick it is. Isn't that cool? We're making it look more dimensional. And then we can erase some of these extra lines here so it's a little easier to see. There we go. And then maybe instead of just having it be a straight oval, let's go in here. Maybe since it's rice, we'll kind of make it lumpy here. Let's make it look kind of lumpy. I'm just going to make it kind of draw little lumps all around the side. There we go. I like that. Maybe it needs to be a little bit, maybe I need to make that a little bit straighter. Let's try that. There we go. I think I like that a little bit better. Make that a little bit straighter. And then they usually have like a little piece of seaweed that holds it on there so it doesn't just fall off. So let's draw like a little strip of seaweed on here. Little line down the middle, like that. 2 lines right there on the top. And then just have those come straight down. You can even have them curve a little bit if you want to make it look like it's fitting around our sushi. And then we can just erase the middle there. I'm probably going to fill it in with black, so I'm not too worried. And there we go. We got our first one in there. And if you want to draw some extra little, you can erase all that stuff on the inside. And then we can draw like little grains of rice. We don't have to draw every grain of rice, but maybe if we just draw a few on here, it'll give you the idea. Sometimes there's something like, if there's just a lot of something, if you want to make it look a little bit more graphic and just a little easier to read right away or to see, then I just kind of do things like that. All right, so let's move on to our maki. I think this is a pretty good shape here. Maybe we can curve it a little bit, make it a little bit more interesting. But maybe right here. So let's make this this shape a little bit more final. Right there. So I like those shapes. I like the bottom shape. That works just fine for me. Like that. But I'm thinking on the top, since it is packed full of rice, we're going to kind of go like this. Just like we did on the side here of our rice, we're going to kind of make it a little bit lumpy. There we go. Let's do that on this side too. A little bit lumpier. There we go. Make sure that line's back there. See how this one's in front? So that stuff, you don't have to show the lines all the way going through. And then let's draw another oval on the inside. And this is going to be the filling. And the way they make them is they actually lay them out on a sheet. And usually it's a little like bamboo sheet. And then they put down, either you want to put down the seaweed first, and then you put the rice on top of it, and then your fillings, and they just roll it on up. And then they cut it into little pieces like this. So you have filling in here, and I'm not sure what I want the filling to be. So I'm just going to draw, usually it's cut up into little segments. So I'm just going to draw some lines in here. We can color them in to be certain different fillings. Maybe it's vegetables like avocado or cucumber or tuna. Sometimes they even put like cream cheese in them. All right, and then maybe we can add a few more little dots and things there. We'll do that later. All right, so I'm liking the shape of our nigiri. It's kind of got that bean shape on the top. I might want to clean it up just a little bit. And then underneath it, I'm going to do the same thing I did with all the rice. I'm going to kind of make it look lumpy. I'm going to kind of go like this. Like this. Doop, 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 doop. There we go. Make these lines a little bit more final. And then I'm going to do the same thing I did over here. I'm going to add that little strip of seaweed to hold it on there, so it doesn't just fall off of your chopsticks. And then we're going to go ahead and do the same thing with maybe just adding a few little grains of rice in there to make it look like that's rice. There we go. And the last thing I want to add on this is probably just adding those little, if it's the, kind of the inside of the fish, it's striped like that. So there you go. That's the meat of the fish that we'll put on the top there. I don't know what this one is. Maybe this one's salmon. I really like salmon in my sushi. And then you can go through and you can, finalize these other lines on here. Make sure that now that it all fits. And yeah, I think we are ready to move on to the next step, which is taking a black marker or like a pen and then outlining everything so that we have something to color in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Did you know that an earthquake in 1923 made sushi more popular? Well, before then, sushi was just a street food. You just bought it on the street and it was super cheap. People couldn't afford to buy a space like a restaurant and sell it out of a restaurant. That is until after that earthquake, when the property prices dropped significantly, then they were able to buy the restaurants and they made sushi restaurants. Now you mainly only see sushi served out of a restaurant. Crazy, huh? And there we go. I think we got it all outlined. Did I have everything? Yes, okay. Now, maybe one little thing right here. Last little guys. But now all I have to do now is just go through and erase all of this under sketch. I'll go through with a big eraser. I'm going to erase all that, and then I'm going to jump right into my colors. Now, I have lots of markers, and that's what I'm going to be using. Use whatever you want. If you have colored pencils or crayons, or if you want to just leave it black and white, you can do that too. But that's my next step, is I'm going to go through here, erase all this, and start coloring. Now, I know I can hear some of you saying, sushi's gross. And you know what? If you've given it a fair shot and you've tried sushi and you don't like it, you don't have to like everything. You just have to try things. It's always important to try new foods. You at least gotta give them a chance. There's a lot of foods that I didn't like as a kid that I now like because I tried them either prepared differently or they had some slightly different ingredients, and I actually really ended up liking them. And in the case of sushi, it's basically just vinegary rice. That's the sushi part, and then you can add whatever you want inside or on top of it. It could be vegetables, it could be seafood, it could be egg, it could be all sorts of things. So don't knock it if you've tried it. It's always good to try new foods, and who knows, you might actually like sushi if you had it with different ingredients inside. And the final little touch right there. Awesome, I think I'm finished coloring, and oh, well, I'm super happy with how this turned out. Now, I did make a mistake. I did go over the lines here with my little brown marker, and you know what? It's totally fine. I'm super happy with it all. It's not gonna be exactly perfect, and that's just fine. But it does look like a plate of lots of different types of sushi, and it was so much fun to draw. Okay, but before it's completely finished, what do we have to do? That's right, we need to go ahead and sign our name. So I have a little room right over here. So in the bottom corner, I'm gonna put my name on there, and now I can say my drawing is officially done. Well, that was a blast. Thank you guys so much for drawing with me today. I hope you're happy with what you made, and you should be because you made it. And again, if you haven't tried sushi, you should really go try it out. There's so many different flavors, you're bound to find one I think that you'll like. Be brave and try out some new foods. And if you want, you can have your parents take a picture of your artwork, and they can send it over to me either through an email, or they can direct message me on Instagram, and that way I get a chance to see all your amazing work, and maybe, just maybe, it'll make it on one of our future episodes. Alrighty, before you go, remember, be brave, be creative, and most importantly, be you. Alrighty, we'll see you next time.